Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the daily forecast with a much wider screen. This is the widescreen version of the daily forecast. It is originally set for Friday the 24th of September, but it's not solely for that date. You can use my readings at any point in time whenever you're seeing them. They're intended for the greater good, so just use them to the best of your ability. Please check out the drop-down menu underneath the video for any sort of housekeeping stuff and things I want you to think about, especially if you're new to me. This is a broad spectrum reading. You have to figure out where it best fits in your life, if at all. And if any of you guys are tech savvy, in the transfer of computers where I lost the camera on my Surface Pro that I was using originally, which was much closer perspective. If anybody knows how to lift the breathing sound off of my intro, somehow I lost that breathing sound. I was able to find my intro through email on Fiverr, but I cannot find the breathing sound where I originally got it from off of this sound place, this, unlicensed sounds. So if anybody knows how to steal that, not steal it, but take it off of one of my videos as just a sound file and send it to me so that I can put it back in, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm not smart enough on how to do that. I don't know if there's enough of you even watching this that can help me with that. But for now, the triangle in the beginning of the video will be silent. Maybe that's what we all need in our life, is a little silence. All right, let's see what's going on with the cards today. I'm just trying to get everything back to normal, back to an usual rhythm. But the puppies we're adjusting, we're getting better. But it's just, they're so all over the place. They're a joy, but they're, a challenge in that joy too. All right, so let's see what's going on with their needs are so immediate, Let's see what card it is today. Ooh, the moon. All right, let me just throw it right in there. The moon is Cancer Pisces energy, very emotional, very watery, obviously. Moon affects the tides. It is major arcana, so today should be a little bit of a day where it feels a little bit like a recoup or maybe a reconfigure, a reset even from whatever we experienced in the previous reading, which was that Five of Pentacles death combination, as magical as that was, right? For those of you that are experiencing a setback, a loss of some sort, there might be some confusion or distrust, challenges around that loss. Definitely some emotions that we're dealing with or having to face. But ultimately, if we don't avoid them or don't try and run from them or resist them and just sort of sit with them, we can find insight. We can find maybe a deeper meaning or deeper understanding of who we are, how we feel. It might feel a bit confusing or perplexing. It might feel a bit like overwhelming, but allow that. I don't want to say allow yourself to be overwhelmed, but don't fight it, right? The moon to me is something that we want to ebb and flow with, that we want to just kind of work with. And even if it doesn't feel super comfortable, and it might feel a little bit scary, like it might consume us or overtake us emotionally, it's okay to let it in a way. I mean, barring that, our day-to-day life and experiences are going to allow us to have this moment for ourselves. This period of pause and reflection, getting in touch with our deeper feelings or perceptions around a situation, our intuition, our insights around a situation. We did just have that full moon in Pisces, which would make sense as to why we're seeing this card today. And some of you might be experiencing some emotional, more subconscious or deeper feelings around whatever sort of losses or challenges you may be facing. Don't be put off by that, right? The moon is there to teach us too, right? We can learn from the moon. And remember, this actually kind of feels like an appropriate card for the grounding stone that was the theme of this week, which was that stone, nature. Like, what is our truer nature? What is maybe even the shadow side of who we are? What is the part of ourselves that we run from or hide from or don't want to deal with or expect that if others see it or experience it, they may, not like us or judge us, right? That's sort of the shadow self, right? If we're maybe insecure or frightened or worried or don't feel adequate enough, or, maybe we're resentful, we have whatever it may be, right? Allow yourself to sit with it. Allow yourself to sort of experience it. Don't avoid it. Don't fight it today, is the feeling that I get. Remember, we have that page of swords, which would be a little bit of an investigative energy, right? And it's shifting into that Nine of Wands, which is that sort of being a little bit battered after the battle or after the fight or the challenge, but having been, wiser because of it, or having learned something because of it, right? So we want to take whatever this moon is kind of giving to us or making us experience, feel, contemplate, and don't toss it to the side, right? Try and be as present. When the moon's energy is there, it's sort of like, to me, it's asking us to be as present and maybe as still or as quiet, like what I was saying at the beginning of this video, as possible, so that we can hear the more subtle voices or the more subtle intuitions that are going on within us, and where we're being drawn to, where our focus is being called to. We might actually get some really beautiful insights and connection to who we are, or how we feel, what we know. Okay, so, here's a new card for us. We get the Wind Fairy. And no, this doesn't mean we're going to be gassy, people. So the Wind Fairy, we've seen Fire Fairy and Water Fairy this month. This is the guides of the Fae, or the guides of the fairy. This is thoughts, words, intellectual analysis, and it's card number 29, which would be an 11. So ultimately, the Wind Fairy is a master number. To me, this would be the focus on the self, because it's a double 11, right? It's 1-1. So maybe we're mirroring back to ourselves. We see 1-1 in the reflection of the moon card, where he's looking at himself in the water and his emotions, right? So there's might be something that we're communicating to ourselves, or our thoughts are projecting to ourselves, that might feel uncomfortable, or that we might need to work on, or they may feel confusing to us or challenging to us. And we may want to avoid it altogether. Don't allow that avoidance to take over, right? Don't run from ourselves or from the part that's, deeper within us, that might feel a little bit uncomfortable at this time. That's kind of the message that I'm getting. The Wind Fairy is this sort of guide, right? She will guide you through your thoughts, your words, with intellectual analysis, right? She's sort of similar to like that swords energy. We have that page of swords underneath it, right? So we're still learning. There's something we're investigating within ourselves, maybe, that we're finding out who we are. And the Wind Fairy can be our guide to master that, right? That's the 11 of the Wind Fairy. We can maybe potentially master something, not only mentally, but also emotionally at this time, even though it may present as a challenge originally. I'm sorry, but that's a little bit out of focus. So let's see if we can get that to focus better. New camera, we're learning. But you guys get a bigger perspective on my life by seeing my office a little bit more. Now, let's look to the grounding stone and see what's going on with the grounding stone. And the grounding stone for today, all right, I'll take it. Totally perfect. This is a great reading. I love how sometimes these things just sort of line up together. All three of them work together in sync with each other. The word is trust. This is the principle that we want to ground in today. I think that trusting in ourselves, first and foremost, is going to be key, especially with this sort of emotional challenge of the moon. This is not, it being major arcana, it's going to be a sort of a significant position or a situation within ourselves that we want to sit with, that we want to master, that we want to get in contact with and become, aware of. Looking at it more intellectually, but also allowing the emotions to be there, right? The trust is that ideally we can trust ourselves and move ourselves through this loss, this time, this, upset in a way that is, ideally, hopefully compassionate, loving, caring, non-judgmental, especially towards ourselves, right? And we're being guided in a way that ideally I think we're going to learn something significant. And the reason why I say that is not only is it because it's a major arcana card, but also that 11 on the Wind Fairy speaks to mastery of some sort. Mastery of the self, or at least the awareness of the self, how we communicate with ourselves, how we hold ourselves in our thoughts. These are going to be things that we might find ourselves working with today. And we need to trust that there's an importance to that, and there's, even though it could present as uncomfortable, there's a gift to be had here, right? There's something good in all of this. That is your forecast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit the thumbs up button, share the video, leave a question or comment, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.